Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are continuing our ride through Killarney National Park, and so the photos you're going to see on the layouts today have to do with that ride and where our path brought us, and some beautiful, beautiful, breathtaking scenery. Really, really peaceful, and there's just nothing like riding in a horse-drawn carriage through it all. I could go on, but let's check out the workspace and we'll get started. All right, here's my workspace for today. And so you'll recognize some of these pictures from the right-hand side of the layout that we did just a couple days ago. Maybe not these two because they were underneath peekaboo pockets, but certainly this one. And so we're going to build on this and proceed to the next pages. And we are continuing our journey in Killarney National Park in Ireland. So we left the Friary and continued our horse and buggy trip through the park. It was so fun. I just can't. It was such a beautiful place. First of all the trees and the green, and just a gorgeous journey, and just super fun to take that journey in this fashion. I don't know what it was, but it just was super nostalgic, neat way to experience the park. As we were riding along, this was one of the areas that we came to as a large meadow of just green grass, and then we realized there were dots of brown, and the closer that we got, the more we realized it was a whole herd of animals. And I don't know if those are deer. They look like deer, but they what kind of deer I couldn't tell you. But just really, really serene environment, aside from the clip-clop of our horses. And we proceeded along a little further on the journey, and we came to a lake that sits right in the middle of Killarney National Park. And now, mind you, I'm from Utah, right? We have mountains here. This is what they call a mountain in Ireland. This is the highest point on the island in the country, is in Killarney National Park. It's this mountain that is not as mountainous as the mountains we have here in Utah, but it is certainly a mountain. I believe. I really don't know what the standards are for how you describe what is and what is not a mountain, but they call it a mountain, which is awesome. We'll call it a mountain. And this beautiful lake that went all the way, presumably all the way around, but I'm not sure if it went all the way around the mountain. And it had islands out in the middle of this lake. Just really, really cool, beautiful, serene, like I said before. And then we came into this area that had fences and rather well manicured roads, and discovered that we were headed directly towards a house, a very large house. This is known as Muckross House in Killarney National Park. It's actually a house and gardens, much like how Blarney Castle had gardens as well, although we did not go and see any of the gardens. We went and saw the house and the gift shop afterwards, and then we got back into our bus and went to lunch. So, but this is the beginning of our experience at Muckross House. So that will be for next week. But for today's layout, we are going to utilize some of our scraps. So you'll recall that a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just going to move these photos out of the way temporarily. We'll get back to them shortly. You'll recall that a couple of weeks ago we did a layout, and the link is up here in the corner. We did a layout where we made wheels. Do you remember the wheel layout? That was a virtual crop sketch that I did. And I cut the wheels out of the center of these pieces of plaid paper. But I kept them to see what we might use them for in the future. I thought they would be fun to play with today. I kept the center as well. So you'll recall we just cut this part out and we used it in that layout. And then I was left with these circles and these pieces, and kind of a quandary of what do we do with those, right? So we're going to use them today. We're going to use these two pieces on our base, and so I'm going to just real quick grab my jumbo tape runner, and we're going to go ahead and adhere these down to our pages. And if you're new to my channel, or you are new to Creative Memories scrapbooking, welcome. You don't need to put your adhesive all the way across the edge. You can just put a few spots of a ½ inch or so of adhesive. I put about 5 spots down a 12-inch side of paper. Some people put even less than I do. Some people put more, but I have found that what I do works for me. And I don't have to stress about trying to be super careful and not put more than 3, little strips. Or, because I'm not super careful. So I'm sure there are people out there that are. And kudos to you. That's awesome. Now, give me just a second here. This is buckling. It shouldn't be buckling because I'm not asking it to curve or anything like that. So I'm just trying to make sure that it goes down smooth. Okay, so that's better. We're going to do this side. How are your jumbo tape runners doing after the little how-to that we did on Monday, so that everybody will know how to get out of a jam if it jams up on you? It can give you a little bit of a fright, but it's not hard to fix. I hope that's been helpful. All right. Come on now. Okay. So now we have our base circles down. Now what are we going to do with these circles? It has this brown pattern on the back, which I kind of like, and the blue is just about the same color blue that is in this blue plaid. So we're going to do something fun, I hope. I hope that this is going to be productive and work. It's been a while since I have done this, but we're going to punch around the edge of this circle. Now, if you've never punched around the edge of a circle, we use the housing and the border maker cartridge of our CM border maker system. but you don't need the paper holder because you're going to manually hold the paper. And we're going to turn it upside down so that we can see where the paper is going in our punch underneath. Okay, so I'm going to be turning this over so the brown piece is visible on my layout. At least that's my plan. So I'm going to place this inside my punch, and I'm going to go all the way as far as it will let me, but I want to be mindful and try to keep it centered. Okay, so you can use the lines, if you're using plaid paper, you can use the lines of the plaid paper to kind of help you keep it straight. And then you're going to punch it. Okay, now we're committed because we've started. All right, so now that we have that, we're going to rotate the circle, rotate the punch, and we're going to add the punch on to the previous punch. So this is where it gets just a little bit tricky. If you can see right in there, there's a little bit of a gap. I'll put it closer to the camera and refocus. Okay, let me tilt it so you can see better. So right in here, right in that corner, you can see a little bit of a gap. And that is where this punch is going to connect to that punch. Does that make sense? Let me show you. Let's refocus. Okay. Hang on. My paper just shifted just a little. It does take some time, and it's well worth the time and effort to try to make it right. Okay, so there's our second punch, and you can see where those lined up right here. They connected together right there. Now those punches, as you go around the circle, the punches where it connects are going to be just a little bit different each time. That's just kind of the nature of how it works. And I've never actually punched around a circle using this particular one before, but I just wanted something that was indicative of the fact that we were moving around, trying to make that a thing anyway. So I'm just going to keep rotating it and doing the best I can to connect those punches carefully. This one is a little tricky to do. Some of them are easier. Can't see. Now I can see better. All right, we're going to do one more, and here we will end up putting it some kind of an embellishment. Okay, so that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we did 9 punches around. Something like that. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to this second circle, and then we will proceed with our design. Okay, then we're going to grab our 12-inch trimmer. We're going to take those two pieces. I'm going to line them up so that I know that the gap is in the same place for each one. I think that'll be easier. Okay, I'm going to center that gap on my trimmer. So if you're not aware, before I cut this, let me just explain. If you're not aware, the CM 12-inch trimmer has a really cool trick for cutting a circle in half. You don't have to measure and be super careful about, you know, how wide it is, where the edges are, or whatever. No, all you need to do is balance your circle between this point and this point. Those are the two shoulders on either side of the blade, the housing. And that will center your circle, and you can cut straight through and know that you have cut right down the middle. Cool, huh? Alright, so we're going to place those sides together. And then here it does get a little bit tricky, because here we need to know how tall is our circle. We have a 7-inch wide circle, so half of 7 is 3.5. So I'm going to place this right along the edge of the shoulder of my trimmer, and I'm going to place this corner at 3.5 inches. And then I'm going to cut down through here and make quarters of my circles. See, just like that. Okay. Now we're going to use our repositionable adhesive. I'm going to put those up there for right now. I'm going to take one of my quarters. I'm going to add my repositionable adhesive, and it's going to go right down in the corner of my layout. So just like that. We're going to do that around all 4 corners. But I'm going to do it around the outside corners first, and then decide how I'm going to do the center. I thought this would look a little bit like a sports jacket. You know how there are patches on the elbows of a sports jacket? A sports coat? I just thought that might be kind of cool. So this is going to go on the far corner of the right-hand side of the layout. And this one on the upper corner. And then we'll take a look at what it looks like and decide if we want to add the other 4 or not. I think I do, but we'll take one step at a time. Alright, so here's what it looks like just with those outside corners. Now, we could go ahead and do like so, or something along that line, maybe more like this. What do we think? I think I like this best. There's something about all the circles, all the arches. So I'm going to go ahead and put these down. If you don't have the border maker system, you could just cut your circles into quarters and not worry about punching the edges. That would be totally fine. Oop, this way. All right. Now we are going to mat some of our photos. So let's go ahead and transfer these on here and then decide how we're going to mat these. I don't know. I was planning to mat them, but no, I'm not sure about that. Okay. I think I am going to just mat a couple. I don't think we'll mat all of them, but I think we will mat a couple. And I'm going to use Albatross, which is this nice rich gray color. I think that will work nicely. It'll pick up the gray in the road and in the clouds that were above us. I might need two papers to do that. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to do this one. I'm not going to do a real wide mat. Just enough to kind of separate some of the color. And some of the mat is going to end up being covered. So you'll see what I mean by that in just a second. Are we getting tangled again? Looks like maybe a little bit. So yeah, I'm getting bound up here again. Okay. So this is another example of some of what can happen in a or with your jumbo adhesive. This piece of cellophane was wrapped around this and interfering with the spokes of this. So I'm just going to grab my precision point scissors and trim this off. This is a more unusual problem. I've not had this happen more than maybe once. So I'm just going to trim it off and see if that's enough to free it up and help it work right. There we go. Let's see. Oh yeah, much better. Much, much better. All right, good. I'm basically pulling all of the photos that don't have a peekaboo pocket attached or, you know, going to be attached to them, and those photos are the ones that I am matting, because the peekaboo pockets will cover up a lot of the matte, so there's really no point in emphasizing those pictures, because you're not going to see the matte, I feel like. Okay, and then we're going to this one, last one. There we go. Over there, and then let's go ahead and get this put together here. All right. So to center these photos, I feel like it's oftentimes that we have two vertical photos and two horizontal photos that we're trying to get onto a page. And really the best alignment I have found for doing that particular assortment of photos is to do a vertical and a horizontal, and then a horizontal and a vertical on the page. And you can reverse the order, but that just seems to work well and look nice, I feel like. So the key I have found is to center them. Try your best to center them on the page, and in so doing, you end up with a really nice square in the center. So I'm putting the photos edge to edge and over the top of the mat. So let me show you again what that looks like. So I'm putting this photo over the edge of the mat and aligning it with the edges of the photo on this side. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, but I'm going to need to lift up the photo that I stuck down here in the corner so that this mat can go underneath it. The last one is the most tricky because if you didn't line up the first ones just so, then the last one doesn't quite go in the way you want it to. I think it'll be close though. Pretty close. All right. So then we've got a mat around this one, a mat around this one, and our photos are all nice and snug there. Those two peekaboos will go back on top. Okay, and then we're going to come over here to this side. This side's a whole different ball game. So, and it's just because of the types of photos I had to work with. So you can do the same photo arrangement that you had on this side, or you can do like I've got. I'm going to kind of try to mimic the other side by putting those two photos directly together, and then I'm just going to center them between the right and left and put them roughly about 1/2 inch from the top. Okay, and then this one, this one's going to overlap that, but we're still going to see roughly 1/4 inch of the edge here and here. And we're just going to overlap those photos. Then we can do some journaling in here, add some embellishing here and here and here. And I think that will be good. This photo's going to go up here and be a peekaboo. And yeah, let's see what kind of embellishing we want to do. I got this new sheet of stickers from scrapbook.com. Thought maybe we'd see if there's anything on here that we could use. These aren't stickers, these are embellishments. This is what we call a punch-out sheet. Let's see. This is from Scrapbook Customs. Lots of cute things, but I think that's interesting. Maybe these are stickers. Sightseeing stickers. They are stickers, but a couple of them have been cut all the way through, so that's a bummer, but it is what it is. So a green shamrock. We could do I love Ireland, the Emerald Isle. We could do a flag. We haven't done the flag in a while. Right? Add that right on there. Can do I love Ireland. Hang on, I'm gonna add something to that. We need something else for kind of up here. Want to use these. These are cool, but I don't want to use those in case I decide I want to use them on a layout, and then I will need all four. That's the hard part about this kind of stuff. All right, let's look. That is not cut out. Okay. Well, that's an interesting sheet. Let's see what we can pull off of one of these. Let's say I love Ireland. And we'll add a shamrock and a couple of hearts. And we'll just tuck that right there in the middle. And then this one over here, let's do we'll do these three. Shamrocks and Sunshine, and the harp, and the Trinity. That'll be lovely. All right, and we'll just sort of tuck that up kind of right there. All right. So we'll fit our journaling in right here. If we have extra journaling to do, then that journaling will get tucked and hidden out of the way so that we can still see all of our photos. Let me know what you think. This layout is a little bit more subdued, I think. Maybe it's just a little more patchwork because of these. But it's kind of a fun layout. I think were I to do it again, I would choose a different punch for this, or maybe even not punch it at all, because I wasn't as happy with the way that this turned out, but that's just me. Let me know what you think. I would be curious to know what you think. Thanks so much for joining me today. This was a quick one, but that was because we already had our circles cut out of our papers. That just made it easy. So I hope you're saving your papers that you cut your circles out of, because they can make your layouts a whole lot faster than you might think they could be otherwise. Super fun. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.